Hello, this is Pastor Chris Wilson here to talk about my sermon this coming week. We've been in the middle of a series called Being the Beloved Community, and each of the weeks of the series we've been looking at different traits of what it means to embody or live out the beloved community, the kingdom of God, how we're supposed to live together in community with one another. And so this particular week is an interesting trait that Martin Luther King Jr. talked about with the beloved community, and that is peaceful forms of conflict resolution. We don't see a lot of signs of that these days. Everybody's just maybe mean or fearful, or they want their way, or they got to be right and everyone else is wrong. And it's a challenging world we live in terms of how do we navigate people that think differently. We've kind of just gotten to the place where we divide up, we go to our separate corners, and we hope that whoever's got the biggest number of people with the loudest voices will win out. And the beloved community chooses to look at conflict in a different way. There's a passage that I'll be looking at from the letter of Romans, and it basically is talking about pleasing others and not yourself, which is anti how we think about our culture. We think about, I'm going to get what I want, I'll kind of work with others to get what I want, but as long as I get what I want. And this Romans 15 passage talks about looking at those less fortunate than yourselves, or looking at those that have a different idea than you, and kind of trying to put yourself in the space of your neighbor. And your neighbor could be someone close to you, it could be someone you don't even know. But the idea is you have to somehow, in the beloved community, find a thread of harmony, even in the midst of difference, which sounds hard because we've drawn such stark lines that how do we even cross the lines without feeling like we're giving up or we're letting ourselves into someone else's world we don't want to be in. And so this notion of the beloved community is reorienting the whole way we think about conversations and difference and conflict, and recognizing that if we're ever going to move forward, we've got to somehow let go of some of our ego and some of our self-oriented feeling of having to be right. And so this week we will kind of talk a little more deeply about peaceful forms of conflict resolution. Maybe one of the hardest traits that we will navigate in this series is this one. Because when people do things we don't like, we get filled with anger and resentment and fear and disappointment, and I'm feeling those same things that you are. And so maybe I'm preaching as much to myself this week as anybody else. But I hope you will come and be an active listener, and hopefully we can engage in dialogue about this topic in meaningful ways that will hopefully lead us to a healthier sense of what it means to be community. So I hope you'll join us on Sunday.